The World Cup quarterfinals are officially here. Wait, hold on. You're telling me there's only 7 games left until we have the 2026 World Cup winner? Bro, I cannot believe how fast this World Cup is going. We have 4 matches. We have France against Morocco, a repeat of the 2022 World Cup. We have one of the favorites, Spain, against Belgium. We also have one of the dark horses, Norway, against England. And finally, we have the World Cup champions, Argentina, against Switzerland. As always, guys, if you've been enjoying all the World Cup content, remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm so close to 10K and I can't do it without you guys. But without further ado, let's get right into these predictions. Starting off with the first match, we have France against Morocco. Ooh, this is going to be a crazy match, guys. Obviously, we have France, who are arguably the strongest team in the world, but then we have Morocco. And what's very interesting about this Moroccan team is a lot of these players were actually born in France, guys. If you look at a player like Issa Diop, he switched nationalities. A player like Bouadi, who's been a fantastic midfielder for them in this World Cup, he's also switched to Moroccan nationality. So this is almost like a rival within itself. It's going to be such a close game. Now, guys, the most important thing with this game that we have to talk about first is we did see this same fixture in the 2022 World Cup. Now, guys, if you remember, this was a semi-final match. This match was what brought France to the final and what left Morocco finishing in the semi-finals. And this match was very close, guys. To be honest, it wasn't really the best match. It wasn't really the most entertaining match. France did get the job done. But if you remember this match, as you can see from the stats, Morocco had most of the possession. They had majority of possession, but France were the more clinical team in the attack, guys. And if you remember, the French goalkeeper Hugo Lloris made a lot of very good saves in this game. Morocco, they had a decent amount of shots. We saw Enesri, Unahi, they had a lot of shots, but they just weren't converting. As you can see, guys, they had 13 total shots, but only 3 on target, and obviously they failed to score a goal. But I feel like this Moroccan team is very different, guys. They have goal scorers that they never had before. Now, sadly for them, one of their best players, in my opinion, the attacker that scored a goal for them in every game in the group stages, Saibari, will sadly be injured for this game. As you can see, he injured his hamstring in the last game, and sadly, he most likely won't play this game. Now, Rahimi, I don't think is a bad scorer. He's 30 years old. He can score goals, but I think if Saibari was playing, I'd probably have more confidence for Morocco in this game. But so far in this World Cup, they still haven't lost. They've been very good. We saw them get that early draw against Brazil. We saw them beat both Scotland and Haiti, which, to be fair, Haiti was a little bit of a wake-up call for them defensively, but they still got the job done. Against Netherlands, they were very good in that game. In my opinion, Morocco in this game were probably the better team for majority of this game, and obviously they got the win on penalties. And against Canada, they were very good as well. But against France, I don't know if Morocco has what it takes. Guys, you look at this French team and they're absolutely incredible. They're fantastic. Just look at this attack. Mbappe, Olise, Dembele, Barcola, they've all gotten goals, they've all gotten assists, and they've all been incredible. Mbappe is the joint top scorer in the World Cup. He has almost 10 goal contributions after only 5 games, which is absolutely insane. And the thing with France is they have such incredible depth that a lot of other teams, including Morocco, don't have. Now, Morocco have decent depth, to be fair. But France, guys, if you look at their bench players, you have Mateta, you have Thuram, you have Akliouche, you have Desiré Doué, you have Ryan Cherki. Bro, that attack is crazy. And if you look at France so far in this World Cup, they have 100% been the best team. We saw them get a 3-1 win against Senegal, a 3-0 win against Iraq, a 4-1 win against Norway, another 3-0 win against Sweden, and even in the last match against Paraguay, guys. To be honest, this wasn't a football match. This was more of a wrestling match. I don't know what Paraguay were doing, but France still got the win. They only scored 1 goal through a penalty, but realistically, with the amount of chances they had, they probably could have scored 2 or 3 as well. Now, guys, what do I think will happen in this game? I think it'll be another very close game, similar to that 2022 matchup between Morocco and France. I think it'll be very close. I do think both teams will score. I think Morocco are a very good team defensively, but we've seen in some games this World Cup that they have struggled a little bit. Obviously, one of the better defenders, Riyad, will most likely be out for this game, and probably Hal will be playing in his position, who I do think is a little bit of a downgrade. But I can't see past France, guys. I cannot see past France. I would love it if Morocco can get the win. That would be absolutely crazy. An African team making it to the semifinals once again, and maybe to the finals, would be insane. But sadly for Morocco, I can't see past France. I can't see past France. So I am going to predict France to win this game 2-1. It will be a very close game, but I do think with Mbappe France will get the job done. Moving on to the next match, we have Spain against Belgium. I feel like this was actually a pretty unexpected quarterfinal matchup. I feel like some people didn't expect Belgium to get this far, and to be honest, with the start they had, they did not have a good start to the World Cup. And now coming into this World Cup, I was one of the people saying that I think Belgium will be a very, very good team, mainly because of their pre-World Cup matches where they were getting some very, very good results. We saw them get a 2-0 win against Croatia, a 5-0 win against Tunisia. Obviously, they got that draw against Mexico. They beat USA 5-2. So I was saying that going into this World Cup, Belgium may be on the best form. But to be honest, the start was very, very poor. They started off the World Cup with a 1-1 draw against Egypt and a 0-0 draw against Japan, guys. And this game, this was not a good showing for Belgium. Not a good showing. They were so dominant. They had so many shots and they still couldn't score. And that told me that, guys, Belgium may have some problems in the attack that I never really expected. And if you look at Belgium so far in this World Cup, I think some of their best players haven't actually been performing. Mainly their main attacker, Jeremy Doku, guys. With the season that he had, I thought he was definitely going to show up for Belgium in this World Cup. But so far, it's looking like a player like Luka Bacchio, a player like Trossard have been the more reliable players for Belgium than Jeremy Doku. I feel like Jeremy Doku, who's been on the ball a lot, but when he's on the ball, I feel like he hasn't really had that end product. So can Belgium win this game? I think if they play very, very well, if they're clinical on the attack, they could possibly win this game. But they're going against Spain, who have been arguably the best defensive team so far in this World Cup. And guys, coming into this World Cup, I feel like a lot of people didn't expect Spain to be this good defensively. But if you look at Spain so far in this competition, they have still not conceded a single goal. They've kept a clean sheet in every single match. They kept a clean sheet against Cape Verde, which, to be fair, they struggled to score, which was pretty poor by them. Then they won 4-0 against Saudi Arabia, another clean sheet. Then they won 1-0 against Uruguay, which, to be honest, Uruguay probably should have scored in this game. I don't think that was the best game for Spain, but nonetheless, another clean sheet. Then they beat Austria 3-0, and most recently, they beat Portugal 1-0, knocking out Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, if you look at this game, I don't think it was the best performance by a Spain attack, for example, because I feel like they had a lot of great chances, but they could not finish their dinner, guys. We saw some great shots from the likes of Lamine Yamal, some great shots from Baena. Now, to be fair, Diogo Costa was making some very, very good saves, but this chance from Oyarzabal on the breakaway in the 8th minute, one-on-one with the keeper, and he misses the whole net. Guys, I'm going to be completely honest. If Spain want to get far in this World Cup, if they want to make it to the next round, to the semifinals, and maybe even to the finals, their attackers need to score their chances. Players like Oyarzabal, players like Olmo, Lamine Yamal, Baena, very, very good players, top players. Oyarzabal, we know when he puts on the Spain kit, he can perform, but he needs to score, guys. With the amount of touches he has, the amount of chances he gets every single game, he needs to score in this game against Belgium if Spain want to win. Now, for my final prediction, I think Spain will get the job done. I think Belgium are a very, very good team. I don't think Belgium have been as bad as people say in this tournament, and I think Rudy Garcia in recent games has really been helping them. I feel like the substitutions that he's made against USA, against other teams in recent games, I feel like it's heavily impacted the game, especially if you look at that match against Senegal, guys. His late substitutions changed the game. Absolutely changed the game. He brought off a player like Doku who wasn't playing good, replaced him with the likes of Luka Bacchio, and changed everything. And even in the last game against USA, he didn't even start Doku. He didn't start De Bruyne. He didn't start Lukaku. Like I said, if they're clinical, they can win this game. But guys, I can't see past Spain. I can't see past Spain. They've had the best defense in this World Cup, and I think they will keep another clean sheet against Belgium. So I'm going to go with a very low scoreline, a 1-0 win for Spain, and they will be advancing to the semifinals. Sadly for Belgium, they will be knocked out. Moving on to the next match, we have Norway against England. Oh my God, this game is crazy. Now, I did recently release a quarterfinal preview for this match. If you guys haven't seen, I've been releasing quarterfinal previews for all of the matches, and I will keep doing that for the semifinals and the finals. Just a specific video for each match so I can go more in depth on every match. Obviously in these prediction videos, I'm going through all of them, so I can't really go as in depth. But this game, I was saying, will be a very, very close game. And I feel like both of these teams almost have the same strengths and weaknesses. If you look at both of these teams' attacks, they've been very, very good in this World Cup, but realistically, they've both been carried by pretty much one or two players. If you look at Norway, they've pretty much been carried by the likes of Haaland and Odegaard. I know they've had other good performance from other players, but they've been the main two players. And when you look at England, they've pretty much been carried by Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. Once again, they've had other good performances from other players, but they've been the main players scoring goals, getting assists, and helping them win games. Now, like I said in my preview for this game, the most important thing on a England defensive point of view is to guard Haaland, guys. You must guard Haaland. Ezri Konsa and Mark Guehi need to always watch Haaland. They need to be compact on Haaland. One of them always needs to be within an arm's length distance of him. They cannot give him space, because we saw against Brazil, Gabriel gave him space. He got his head to it on the first goal, and in the second goal, he gave him a few feet of space. Danilo took a long shot from outside the box. Crazy finish. So you cannot allow Haaland space, guys, because if you look at Erling Haaland, he's been the main player for Norway, guys. He scored 2 goals against Iraq, 2 goals against Senegal, obviously didn't play against France, scored another goal against Cote d'Ivoire, and 2 goals against Brazil. So he's been the main player for Norway. So England must mark him. And even their midfielders, Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson, need to watch Odegaard, because the way Odegaard has been playing, he's been almost like a free roaming 10. He's been playing behind Haaland, roaming to the left, to the right, switching positions, and he's been a very creative player for this Norwegian attack. Now, for me, a really big important players for Norway in this game, if they do want to win, is their wide players, guys. Antonio Nusa and Sorloth. Now, I'm not sure if Sorloth will start, because to be honest, he hasn't had the best tournament. I think maybe a player like Oscar Bob may allow for more creativity in that attacking area, but we'll see what Solbakken does. But these players will be very important, guys, especially Antonio Nusa. We saw him cut in and get that beautiful finesse shot when they were playing Cote d'Ivoire, and if he can do that again, then Norway may be able to win this game, guys. But with Harry Kane and Bellingham, guys, I don't know if England's going to lose this game. If you look at England's recent matches, Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham have been doing everything for them on the attack. We go back to the Mexico game, we saw 2 goals from Jude Bellingham and a penalty from Harry Kane. They won the game. You look at the DR Congo game, we saw 2 goals from Harry Kane. He won them the game. You look at the Panama game, you saw a goal and an assist from Jude Bellingham and a goal from Harry Kane. They both won them the game. And you look at the first match against Croatia, to be fair, Rashford got the last goal, very good goal, but Kane and Bellingham scored 3 goals respectively, and they once again won England the game. So guys, this is pretty much the Haaland and Odegaard show versus Kane and Bellingham. Who will be the better attacker? But it's actually not that simple, because I think the team that defends better will win this game. Both of these teams have had weaknesses defensively. Both goalkeepers have been a little bit inconsistent, but were very good in the last game. We saw Pickford make many saves against Mexico, claiming the ball. He was very good. And we saw Nyland make some very crucial saves in Norway's last game, and he obviously saved the penalty as well. So this is going to be a very close game, and for that reason, I'm going to predict a lot of goals. I'm going to predict a 2-2 draw after full time, no goals in added extra time, and then it goes down to penalties. And in penalties, I think that England will get the job done, guys. I just can't see past England after that Mexico result, so I am going to predict England to win this game. And moving on to the last match, we have Argentina against Switzerland. We're going to start off with Argentina, because that last match against Egypt was a big talking point. Obviously, Argentina got the 3-2 win. Egypt were leading 2-0. Some people may argue it could have been 3-0 up until the 78th minute. Then in the next 13 minutes, Argentina scores 3 goals. A header from Romero, a very good goal from Messi, and at the end of the game, another header from Enzo Fernandez. Now, Argentina were very good throughout this whole game, to be honest. In the first half, they were a little bit slow, in my opinion. I don't think they had the best first half, but in the second half, they're very good, dominated possession, had loads and loads of shots. Now, obviously, there's a lot of controversy with this game, with the calls. In my opinion, whether the calls were right or wrong, I'm not going to talk about that, but I do think we have to look at Egypt defensively, because they absolutely capitulated. And Hossam Hassan, I think he managed the first half, the first 70 minutes incredibly well. But I think with some of the substitutions, with Mahmoud, with Trezeguet, I think he killed the game. But guys, at this point, it looks inevitable that Argentina will win the World Cup. They've scored 3 goals in almost every single game they've played. Messi already has 8 goals and an assist, 9 goal contributions. He's tied with Mbappe. And now we're starting to see other players get involved. We're starting to see Romero get headers. He got a header against Cape Verde in that 3-2 win, which, by the way, was another very close game. and he got that opening header against Egypt to open the scoring for Argentina. And even you look at Lisandro Martinez, he's been very, very good in recent games. I will say against Egypt for their second goal, Lisandro Martinez completely lost his man, but before that he was very good. And even Lautaro Martinez, he's starting to get on the score sheet as well, which is very, very important. Now, if we look at Switzerland in this game, for me, the most important player for them that they need to have back for this game is Johan Manzambi, guys. I've been saying it throughout this whole tournament. I've even said it before the tournament, watching him at Freiburg last season. Obviously, Freiburg made it to the Europa League final. He's such a fantastic youngster. For me, one of the most underrated young midfielders in the world. He's only 20 years old. He's a year younger than me. And the best thing about Johan Manzambi is his versatility. He can play as a more defensive line midfielder. He can play as a box-to-box. He can play as a 10. He can play as a striker. He can play on the wings. He can play everywhere across the attack and the midfield, and that's why he's such a good player. He's a tall player. He's very, very quick. His shooting ability is very good, guys, and look at him so far in this tournament. As a midfielder, he's gotten 3 goals and 2 assists as well. Now, if Manzambi isn't playing, I do think this team looks a lot weaker, especially with the likes of Freule, and even if Abischer's in the midfield, I do think they look weaker. Xhaka is obviously very good, although this tournament he's been a little bit inconsistent. Jashari, I think, is a good player, but another player that I feel like Murat Yakin needs to start is Ruben Vargas. I don't know why some of these players aren't getting looked at for the starting lineup. This guy is incredible. Once again, similar to Manzambi, whenever he's come on in this World Cup, he's done incredible. He's gotten 2 goals and an assist as well. He's performed very, very well in the games that he started and the games he's come off the bench. And I think he's another very important player. But guys, like I said, at the end of the day, I think Argentina are inevitable. Whether they're getting calls going their way or not, I'm not really going to talk much about that. I think the referees probably may favor them slightly over some other teams, but they're inevitable, guys. Argentina are inevitable. I don't see them losing this game. I think Argentina will make it to at least the semifinals. Switzerland did incredible to make it this far, but I think Argentina have a little bit too much for Switzerland. I feel like Switzerland may struggle to score, especially with Manzambi having that slight knee injury. I'm not sure if he is going to play this game. If he does play this game, maybe it will change my final prediction. But at the moment, it looks like he will be sitting out, and I think that's a big detriment to the Switzerland team. So I'm going to predict a 2-0 win to Argentina, and Argentina will face against England in the semifinals. But guys, that is the end of my quarterfinal predictions. As always, if you've been enjoying all the predictions, all the previews, all the World Cup live streams, remember to leave a like, remember to comment, remember to subscribe to the channel, and put on the post notification as well so you don't miss a video. And as always, guys, stay tuned for more videos.